Budget cine primes are becoming more and more popular nowadays, and most of them are designed to suit that one-man band sort of creator. They're lighter and have a far smaller footprint than the more expensive cine primes, while still giving the end user that cine lens experience. I've been testing out the Sure Nightwalker cine lenses recently, and they're probably the best bang for buck out there in this category. You can get each lens in the set for as little as £313 each, or a 3-lens set for just shy of £900. That's insane value, so I wanted to figure out if there's a compromise. I just quickly want to address the elephant in the room, and that is of course that these lenses are APS-C, not full frame. I'm sure that'll put a few of you off, but what if I told you that I found a way to still retain a wider field of view, shoot in 5.9K, and get more sensor coverage? I'll explain how a bit later in this video. These lenses are available on a variety of different mounts, basically every one still in production aside from the Nikon Z mount. The build quality also surprised me as well. These lenses are fully metal and everything feels quite impressive. My only complaint is that the focus throw isn't dampened nearly as much as I'd like, so minor changes to your focus may have this lens running away from you slightly. All of these lenses have a 270-degree focus throw, but that does also mean that you'll be turning for a while if you want to do any large foreground to background rack focusing. The aperture ring feels a little more stiff than the focus ring, and while it's not the smoothest I've ever felt, it's still perfectly passable. Overall, I'd say the build quality definitely doesn't leave anything to be desired, especially for the price point that we're in. I've been very fortunate to use some very high-end cine glass in the past, and therefore my perspective may be slightly different compared to that of someone who is just starting to look for cine lenses for the first time. The whole set of cine lenses share the same size and form factor, so that's great for anyone who uses gimbals and stabilizers since the weight distribution shouldn't vary too much. The available focal lengths in this range are 60mm, 24mm, 35mm, 55mm and 75mm. The 16 and 35 are the newest additions and they'll be available to buy from April the 15th. They all share the same filter thread size as the Lumix 1.8 primes, so if you're used to adapting your filters to 67mm, then these lenses should fit right in. If you use them with the intended APS-C crop, then your equivalent full frame focal lengths will be as follows. However, let me show you a trick I discovered after updating the firmware on my Lumix S5 II and S5 IIX. Here's a shot taken with the S5 II in APS-C mode 4K 25p. And here's another shot taken in full frame mode but with the E-stabilization set to high. It's not too much of a difference, but it still gives you a few extra millimeters on the wider side and allows you to shoot in 5.9K. I'm pretty impressed by the overall image quality, and I do think these lenses do a great job in their intended use case. They're definitely not the best lenses I've ever used, but I'd say they're the best lenses I've tested for under £350 each, and if you bundle them together as part of a set, then the cost to quality ratio is truly excellent. If I had the option, I'd have chosen the black finish instead of this metal grey finish, simply because the metal grey looks a bit too old school for me and doesn't really look that good with the black camera bodies. But of course, this is just down to personal preference. So would I recommend these lenses? Yes, definitely. I mean, if you want the functions that only cine lenses can provide you but don't want to spend thousands, then these are probably your best bet currently. The 7 Artisan cine primes I tested a while ago were also great for the money, but since these ones are actually slightly cheaper than those ones and they're much easier to buy and find online, I'd grab the Nightwalkers over the 7 Artisans every day of the week.